They had big plans, about $30 million, lined up from investors and partners. Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track promised to change the game, handing out prize money that track and field athletes had only dreamed of. Win a slam, and you'd pocket $100,000. And even if you didn't win, you'd still walk away with something. They even set aside a $12.6 million prize fund. On paper, that meant someone like Sydney McLaughlin Levrone could rake in millions just in prize money. But here's the twist. The latest word is that a lot of athletes still haven't even seen their appearance fees. And the prize money, no one has a clue where it is. So how did it all go so wrong? Michael Johnson, the face of Grand Slam track, admitted that a key investor backed out, walking away from an 8-figure term sheet. We had an investor who wasn't able to honor their complete commitment to the league. We started with the capital that we needed to get through the season as we planned it with 4 slams and to make sure we can take care of everyone, he explained. While Johnson remains optimistic about resolving the deadlock, the big question is when. Athletes are still waiting for clear answers. Meanwhile, an American track and field coach has shed light on the darker realities of the sport's current state. In his latest podcast, Coach Rob made it clear that the TV deal money alone won't be enough to keep Grand Slam track afloat. Why? Well, a competition with such huge expenses simply can't rely on TV revenue to survive. On top of that, in today's climate, athletes aren't delivering the kind of marketable value that can be fully capitalized on in the entertainment industry. When you talk about being in the entertainment business, you don't get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you negotiate, he said. So, what does that mean for the prize money currently on offer? Are those figures even justified? Coach Rob dismissed the idea that the current prize money is sufficient for athletes who dedicate their lives to track and field. I know that sounds offensive, but I'm being real. People are not being paid what they're worth. They're being paid whatever they can negotiate. That's it. And we kind of have a world where most of the track and field athletes get almost nothing, he said. He pointed out that many athletes not only go unpaid, but have to cover their entry fees, especially those without sponsorships. With no backing, how can they negotiate with major players? Sydney McLaughlin Levrone, however, hasn't faced that struggle thanks to her New Balance sponsorship. Still, the Grand Slam track collapse has made her coach start thinking differently. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone's coach found something hard to believe. Sydney McLaughlin Lev had every reason to stay hopeful about Grand Slam track. On June 19th, the league's official X account posted her upbeat message, and you could feel the optimism pouring out of her words. The 4-time Olympic champion wasn't just showing up. She was all in. I think it's just bringing so much excitement to the sport, she said with a smile, confident that GST could become a long-term game share. I can see this being something that in the years to come, people are going to join. For Sydney, GST was never just an event. It was the beginning of a movement. It's just a great opportunity for the sports, for track, and the athletes, she added, painting a picture of a brighter future. But that bright picture faded fast. Her coach, Bobby Kersey, felt the blow when GST crumbled. On June 14th, after the LA edition was canceled, he poured his disappointment into a heartfelt social media post. On June 14th, after the cancellation of the LA edition of the Grand Slam track, Kersey wrote a detailed post on social media. The deeply disappointed coach wrote, "Over 4 decades in the sport, I've watched too many promising initiatives fall short due to organizational challenges, particularly from lack of corporate sponsorship." He wrote. His words mirrored Coach Rob's, that the athletes are world-class, they work harder than most could imagine, and yet they deserve far more than they get. Still, Cersei didn't let the frustration kill his faith. Even after the Grand Slam finale was scrapped, he stood by the brand. Our athletes are world-class. They train hard and deserve better. The Grand Slam brand is still very promising, but today's seasons and careers are impacted. The reality is here and it's harsh. Dreams have been delayed, money still missing, and athletes are left hanging. So, is Grand Slam track a one-hit wonder or a comeback story waiting to happen? The stadium lights bathe the track in an artificial glow, the kind that turns sweat into diamonds and silence into pressure. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone stood at the start line, her hands flexing rhythmically, eyes scanning the curve ahead. Her focus was absolute, but the noise outside her lane, noise about the sport she loves, had been growing louder. For months, track and field has been wrestling with a sobering reality. While its athletes break records and push human limits, the financial returns often lag behind the effort, the sacrifice, and the global fascination their performances ignite. For only a fleeting moment every 4 years, Sydney, the Olympic and world champion in the 400-meter hurdles, has heard whispers of this her whole career. But it hit different now. The discussion gained sharper edges when Michael Johnson, the golden icon of the 1990s, began championing his vision for a track and field Grand Slam series modeled loosely on tennis and golf. It would offer consistency, compelling narratives, and most importantly, real prize money that could sustain an athlete without the constant scramble for sponsorship crumbs. But as the bold headlines about Johnson's project rolled out, so too did a more uncomfortable truth. The sport's financial foundation was still shaky. Even in marquee events, appearance fees and prize purses were often underwhelming for athletes outside the tiny superstar bubble. Pay was sporadic, inconsistent, and heavily dependent on personal marketing rather than performance alone. Sydney had just returned from a dominant win at the U.S. Championships, a run that seemed effortless to spectators, but was forged in months of punishing training sessions. The victory reaffirmed her dominance, yet the paycheck didn't reflect her status as one of the world's most marketable and talented athletes. When you know what you're worth, but the system can't or won't match it, you start to ask questions, she told a small group of reporters, her voice calm but tinged with frustration. It wasn't about greed. It was about fairness. The long jumps, the hammer throws, the 800 m. Every discipline had its warriors, yet many of them worked side jobs or relied on crowdfunding to make international trips. Sydney's discipline and resume shielded her from such extremes, but she still saw the inequity all around her. Michael Johnson's Grand Slam concept promised a solution for major meets per year, each with substantial prize money, standardized coverage, and a structure designed to elevate track and field from seasonal curiosity to a year-round spectator sport. The idea was electric, but implementing it would require dismantling layers of bureaucracy, securing broadcasting deals, and convincing governing bodies to share power. In the meantime, Sydney continued training as though her next race could change everything. On a humid afternoon in Los Angeles, she powered through repeat 300 m intervals, each one faster than the last, her spikes biting into the track like claws. Her coach called splits, her chest heaved, and yet her mind drifted back to the broader fight. How do you inspire the next generation to commit to a sport that doesn't promise stability? Social media amplified the contrast between glory and reality. A viral clip showed Sydney's Olympic gold moment alongside a breakdown of her actual prize earnings, numbers that palled compared to a single NBA game check. Fans expressed outrage, disbelief, and even resignation. This sport is broken. One comment read. Sydney reposted it with just 3 words. It can change. Her belief in that change was rooted in more than hope. She had seen the passion of fans at packed Diamond League meets in Europe, the energy when a world record fell, the way entire communities rallied behind local champions. The audience existed. The structure did not. Michael Johnson, speaking in a recent interview, echoed the sentiment. We have the talent. We have the stories. We just need to put them where people can see them and make sure those athletes get paid like the global stars they are. Sydney agreed, but her tone was more personal. We're told to chase dreams, she said. But dreams don't pay the rent unless the system values them as much as we do. As the season moved toward the World Championships, the debate around track and field's financial future refused to fade. Sponsors hesitated. Federations defended their budgets. Athletes spoke out more openly than ever before, knowing the conversation itself was a form of progress. Sydney's own approach was simple. Keep winning, keep speaking, and keep showing the world why her sport is worth watching and investing in. Her next race was set for Zurich, one of the Diamond League's most celebrated stops. There she would line up against the best in the world, her presence alone drawing headlines. But behind the headlines, the tension lingered. Would Michael Johnson's Grand Slam become a reality? Would governing bodies take the leap into a model that could finally give track athletes the same career stability as their peers in other sports? Or would another generation of champions watch their prime years pass while fighting for fair pay? As Sydney crouched in the blocks under Zurich's night sky, the air thick with anticipation, she knew her performance would speak for itself. What she couldn't know was whether the sport she carried on her shoulders would find a way to carry her and every athlete like her back. The gun fired. The crowd. Shocking truth. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone's inner battles and Michael Johnson's grim pay reality revealed, blending raw emotion, introspection, and candid revelations to capture the surprising contrasts between an elite athlete's mind and the financial fragility of a sports visionary. One prologue, the glare behind the glory. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone, the mesmerizing record breaker and four-time Olympic champion, stands tall in public imagination, effortless grace, blazing speed, untouchable. Yet behind the gold medals lay a quieter, more unexpected battle. Meanwhile, Michael Johnson, track legend turned entrepreneur, battles a different kind of struggle. The disheartening fallout of a grand vision crumbling in the harsh light of financial reality. This essay dives into the hidden fissures beneath the shining surface, Sydney's emotional vulnerability and Michael's unfulfilled promises to athletes that, together, form a potent testament to the unexpected truths of greatness. 2. The inner turmoil of a champion. Perfectionism, the silent cage. From 2016 Rio, a teenage Sydney revealed in her memoir the debilitating grip of perfectionism. Maybe perfectionism was telling me, if I can't be perfect, why even try? Sportskeeda. Her relentless drive masked a fragile emotional core, trapped in a mindset that made even imperfection feel intolerable. That perfectionism wasn't a virtue, but a prison. It fueled her ambition, yet bred self-loathing when anything fell short. Burnout nearing the edge. Even superstars are not immune to exhaustion. Reflecting on her world record performance at the 2022 World Championships, Sydney confessed, "I felt like I was running on empty, closest I've come to burnout in my career." Base sport. Push after push, race after race. Her body and soul edged toward collapse even as she soared faster than ever. Loss of instinct, the race that haunted her. In Rio, something snapped mid-race. Halfway my instinct abandoned me. It was the first time it ever disappeared on the track. Sportskeeda. Her instincts, her core confidence, betrayed her, leaving her prey to her own anxious thoughts. A harrowing glimpse into the fragility that even champions face. Self-doubt and directionlessness. Sometimes she felt lost. For the first time, "I feel like I'm moving in the wrong direction," she told coach Bob Kersee when facing a slump. Sportskeeda. Her journey hasn't been linear domination. It's been filled with doubt, questioning, recalibration, and courage. Identity under scrutiny. Early fame thrust Sydney into the role of role model before she felt ready. Inside, I felt like I still needed good role models, yet everyone was already looking at me differently. Sportskeeda. She felt incomplete, yet expected to embody completeness. Critics later accused her of disengagement from promotion. She's the LeBron James of track, but imagine LeBron barely promoting the NBA. Base sport. Her deliberate silence was misread as apathy. In reality, it was about protecting her mental space. The turn to faith and authenticity. Over time, she found a path through faith, self-awareness, truth. She began to shed perfectionism. As she put it, I wanted to intentionally be very honest. That authenticity is really what connects with people. Sportskeeda. From a fragile teen in Rio to a grounded champion, her journey is a beacon of wisdom earned in struggle. 3. Michael Johnson's financial storm, a dream deferred. A bold vision, a harsh outcome. Four-time Olympic legend Michael Johnson launched Grand Slam Track, GST, in 2025. His passion project aimed to revolutionize track with pay, prizes, and prestige equal to the world's best. Yet reality turned ugly fast. GST racked up $13 million in unpaid debts, failing to deliver promised prize money and appearance fees. Events were canceled, investments fell through. The Guardian. The league's ambitious 2026 season is now on indefinite hold until the debts are cleared. A painful stall, both for athletes and divisionary. The emotional weight of letting down athletes. Johnson didn't hide behind denial. He admitted the personal sting. It is incredibly difficult feeling like you've let down the very people you set out to help. The Guardian. For a man known for sprinting brilliance, this is a crushing finish line missed, not a defeat in competition, but in trust. Broken promises and lost momentum.